let me tell you about the most terrifying night of my life. It's a story I never thought I'd have to tell, but maybe sharing it will help me process what happened, and maybe it will serve as a warning to others. This happened just a few months ago, and every time I think about it, I still get chills. It was a normal Thursday evening. I live alone in a small house on the outskirts of town. The neighborhood is quiet, surrounded by dense woods. I had just finished a long day at work and was looking forward to a peaceful night. I made dinner, watched a bit of TV, and went to bed around 11 p.m. The night started like any other. I remember lying in bed, scrolling through my phone until my eyelids grew heavy. The wind outside was picking up, howling softly as it rustled the trees. I thought nothing of it. I woke up to a faint noise. At first, I thought it was the wind, just a branch scraping against the window. But as I lay there, ears straining in the dark, I realized it wasn't the wind. It was a deliberate sound, like someone jiggling the handle of my front door. I froze, my heart pounding. Who could be at my door at this hour? I glanced at the clock on my bedside table. It was 2:13 a.m. The jiggling stopped, but then came a new sound, a slow, deliberate scraping. It was as if someone was dragging something metal against the door. My stomach sank. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, casting the room in stark, shaky light. I debated calling the police, but something inside me told me to wait, to listen. I crept to the window near the front of the house, careful to stay out of sight. Peeking through the curtains, I saw a figure standing on my porch. They were tall, wearing what looked like a hoodie, with the hood pulled low over their face. In their hand, they held something long and sharp, a crowbar. They stood motionless for what felt like an eternity, just staring at the door. Then, as if sensing my gaze, they turned their heads slightly toward the window. I ducked down, my heart hammering in my chest. Before I could think of what to do next, the power went out. The hum of the refrigerator, the faint glow of the streetlight. Outside, everything was gone. I was plunged into complete darkness. The only light came from my phone, which I clutched like a lifeline. I heard footsteps moving around the house. They were slow, deliberate, as if whoever was out there was taking their time, savoring the moment. Then came another sound, the unmistakable creak of the back porch steps. I realized with growing horror that they were trying the back door now. I grabbed a kitchen knife from the counter and crouched in the corner of the living room, my breathing shallow. I dialed 911 but didn't press call just yet. I wanted to be sure. A loud crash shattered the silence. They had broken a window, the one in the guest bedroom. I could hear them climbing inside. My mind raced. Should I run? Hide? Confront them? Every option felt like a gamble. I decided to hide. I slipped into the small pantry off the kitchen, closing the door as quietly as I could. I dialed 911 and whispered to the operator what was happening. They told me to stay on the line and remain quiet. Officers were on their way. Through the crack in the pantry door, I could see into the kitchen. The intruder entered the room, moving with a strange, almost mechanical precision. They weren't just looking for valuables. They were searching for something or someone. They carried the crowbar in one hand, tapping it against the counter as they moved. Just as they reached the pantry door, I heard the distant wail of sirens. The intruder froze, their head snapping toward the sound. For a moment, I thought they might run, but instead, they turned toward the pantry, their hand reaching for the doorknob. In that split second, adrenaline took over. I burst out, knife in hand, screaming at the top of my lungs. The intruder stumbled back, clearly not expecting resistance. They dropped the crowbar and bolted out the back door, disappearing into the woods just as the police arrived. The officers searched the property and the surrounding area but didn't find the intruder. They told me I was lucky to be alive, that these situations often end much worse. I moved out of that house a week later. I couldn't stay there, not after what happened. To this day, I still wonder what they wanted. Was it just a robbery or something more sinister? I'll never know, but every time I hear a noise in the night, I can't help but feel that same cold fear creeping up my spine.